recording one. Okay, right. Good evening, everyone. Today topic is Azure Synapse Analytics, data warehouses. First, let me create the source group first. Click on review create. So for the very first one, what is data warehouse? Okay, so data warehouse means it's simple like a centralized repository. Here we are going to store the large volume of data. So as a data engineer, our responsibility is we are going to connect the source system, the data, and load the data into the destination, either RDBMS or a data warehouse. So there is a requirement. We are getting the data from the different systems. So we used to collect all the systems related data and load the data into one data warehouse. So data warehouse purpose is we are storing the large volume of data. So relational database management system point of view, the data size is somewhat is low. So that is the reason people actually preferring especially large volume of data, big data workloads point of view, people's actually preferring the data warehouses. Like if you want to perform some any analytical reporting, some any business intelligence level, people's actually preferring the data warehouses. So in data warehouses, we can store the historical data and we can store the structured data, right? So, and once if you store this large volume of data into your data warehouses, here we can write some complex queries and we can retrieve the data in very fast manner. Okay. So the way of loading the data, the way of reading, right? Definitely we need optimization techniques. Okay. So while creating this data warehouses or analytical level, we have options to select um, the optimizations options available. And this Synapse this data warehouse, especially for Synapse, actually following the OLAP process. OLAP means online analytical process. OLAP means analytical. Right. Only data warehouses point of view, we are going to perform the analytical process, online analytical. So SQL is OLTP, means transaction, online transaction. For example, if you are trying to perform day-to-day transactions, right? That time RDBMS is the best choice. If you want to perform the analytical level, right? Go with the data warehouses. Okay. OLAP means belongs to the data warehouse. OLTP belongs to the relational database management system. Right. So data warehouses, we have a plenty of data warehouses available in the market. Like Microsoft Azure having the one, the Synapse dedicated SQL pool, and AWS having the Redshift, and GCP having the BigQuery. Other than these three clouds, we have one more topmost data warehouse, that is Snowflake. Okay, Snowflake. So here, when we go for relational database management system and when we go for data warehouses, for example, if you want to handle the day-to-day transactions operations, go with the relational database management system. If you want to client looking for storing the large volume of data, client actually perform some analytical queries. Means here we need to write some complex queries and generate the some data. Here Power BI teams comes to the picture and generating some advanced reports level. Go with the data warehouses. Go with data warehouse. So in relational database management, simply here we are writing some small frequent small transactions like insert, update, delete level. But in data warehouses, here we are writing some complex queries. Okay. So historical, like especially when we are getting the data from the source system, historical load. Historical means, for example, year-wise workloads, last 5 years data, last 10 years data, last 20 years data. Right? If you want to load such type of historical load, data warehouse is the best choice. Right? Any only real-time data, near real-time data, the data somewhat size is low, right? For example, my requirement is only real-time streaming data. We don't have any historical data, right? Then no need of data warehouse. Just choose the relational database management system. You can store your real-time related data. Real-time related data is somewhat is low. Okay, right. RDBMS tools means relational database management systems tools like a SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, right? So data warehouses like a Synapse dedicated SQL pool, Redshift, BigQuery, okay, and Snowflake. Those are comes under the dedicated SQL pools. Sorry, data warehouses. Fine. Let me create the Microsoft Azure Synapse Analytical. So guys, analytics. Okay, the meaning of analytics means generally we are getting the data from the source system, the raw data, right? So the raw data means it is a huge amount of data that are data having some issues. Data maybe it is not in correct way, right? So here we need to prepare the data in correct, good decision making wise. We need to prepare the data. So the raw data, right? What happening inside the raw data? Okay, why did it happen, right? What may happen next, and what should we do the about the data? So these questions actually we need to think about the while handling that raw data. Okay, for example, first we need to understand what happening in the data. The raw data means definitely huge amount of data. Maybe there is a issues with the data. We need to prepare the good data. So the data also actually helps to the for coming next business, right? So such type of things first we need to understand. So this type of questions actually comes under the analyticals. Analyticals. Okay, means here we are trying to preparing the uh, uh, good data. Okay, meaningful level we are trying to prepare the data due to some business trying to take these some decisions, right? So before taking the decisions, first we used to prepare the meaningful pattern-wise data. So that we can call it as a analytics. Analytics. Okay, so for example, if you take any domain like healthcare, finance, sports, marketing, right? So, for example, if you take the finance, right, we need to detect the fraud, right? How the risk actually there, right? Such type of things first we need to understand. Those actually comes under the analytics part. Okay, for example, if you take the sports related data, right? So we need to under analysis the player performance, right? So we need to analyze the team related things, right? So such type of things comes under the analytics. For example, if you take the banking related, right? Or any sales related, e-commerce related, right? So we need to understand customer behavior, so, how this exactly sales trends is going on, right? So such type of things comes under the analytics. Okay. And for example, in YouTube, okay, how we are gonna market this YouTube? So we have a like a, digital marketing, SEO, right? SEO are options available, right? So we are adding the targets and we are just doing the campaigns and right performance level. Those right, those are also comes under the analyticals. So we are trying to make the better decisions. Okay, we need to identify the trends. We need to identify the opportunities. So we need to solve the problems before taking the ready to use the business data. First, we need to understand the raw data. So this type of things actually comes under the analytics. Analytics, general meaning of analytics. So here I'm going to create the Synapse Analytics. Create, right? So create Synapse Workspace. Create Synapse Workspace. So the meaning of workspace is, for example, when we are working with any company, for example, MNC company, the company having the big building, the building having the floors, each and every floor having the some ODCs. ODC means Offshore Development Center. The purpose of maintaining the ODC is who are part of that account or who are part of that specific project, all the team members actually part of that ODC, like a data engineering team, data science team, machine learning team, DevOps team, admin team, all the team members actually part of one ODC. The reason to maintain the ODC purpose is so we can directly interact with the our team members and other teams also, right? So that client actually benefit is to get the product very smoothly, right? So anyway, teams actually available in different location through the Teams or Zoom. We are trying to connect the different location team members. But anyway, when we are maintaining the ODC, so some of the team members actually part of that group. Okay, that place. The place we can call it as a workspace. Workspace means it is a general meaning of the workspace is mean one team or else multiple teams. If you take one team, it's also one team having the n number of employees, right? So that is the meaning of the workspace. Maybe here, if you want to hand over any data to the Power BI team, if you want to hand over any data to the data science team to generate this some advanced analytical level, so multiple teams are actually part of these workspaces, or else single team. we can give the access to the one workspace. One workspace having the team members. So select the resource group, right? And manage the resource group. Here, two types of groups available. One is the resource group. This is parent one. Second one, managed resource group. So the purpose of this main resource group is, whatever the resources which we are creating here, right? For example, SQL, ADF, storage account, key vault, app registration, right? All these services actually part of this resource group, main resource group. So while creating this Synapse, right, some internal Azure services will be created in the backend. Those internal services actually helps to, right, to connect with this Synapse. Okay, maybe some network security groups, some firewalls, some internal storages, right? Part of this Synapse, right? Those internal related services actually comes under the managed resource group. Managed resource group actually related to the whatever you are creating Synapse workspace or a Databricks workspace. This resources having some internal resources. There is a dependency. Okay, so those internal services actually comes under the managed resource. Okay, so if you are not providing any name, so above resource group is star mark means mandatory. Below one, there is no star mark. If you are even though if you want, you can skip it. But by default, Microsoft Azure actually created one internal managed resource group, so some system generated one. That system generated managed resource group having the Synapse related internal resources. Okay, if you want, you can provide the some internal resource group name. For example, test resource group. Okay, here we need to provide the workspace name. So Synapse test workspace. Okay, workspace name must and should be unique. And region West US2. So if you see this normal general project flow, if we are using the Azure Data Factory alone, right, generally the data actually stored into the staging layer, data lake Gen 2. Here we have a bronze and silver gold. Okay. After that, either through the ADF level, through the Azure Data Factory level, we can connect the storage account either blob or a data lake Gen 2, right? We have options to connect, right? ADF, right? Able to connect the blob storage or data lake Gen 2. Two options available. But Synapse Analytical level, 100%, right? The storage account belongs to the data lake Gen 2 only. Because Synapse mainly reason for to store the large volume of data for handling the big data workloads. Synapse won't support the blob. Synapse only supports the data lake Gen 2. 100% while creating the Synapse workspace, we need data lake Gen 2 mandatory. Data lake Gen 2 is mandatory. Okay. So here we need to select your existing storage account name and existing your container name. Okay. So let me create a storage account. Storage account name Synapse Gen 2 data. So of primary service blobber data lake Gen 2. Redundancy select the LRS. Oh God, something is wrong with my mouse today. Synapse Gen 2 data. Data lake Gen 2 and select the LRS. Click on next and make sure select the hierarchical namespace. And I don't want any data protections. Click on next. Review create. Create. Okay, let's Let's wait 1 or 2 minutes.
Shravan, so the Synapse also is similar to with Apache Hive.
It is analytical one. It having the lot of things. Here we can do the data warehouses workloads. Here we can do the Apache Spark related things. Here we can do the pipelines creations. Right, we can write the data flow, data factories, Spark, Databricks notebooks. We can store the large amount of data. We can write SQL queries. We can write KQL queries. There are plenty of things. Same like a fabric level.
Okay.
Okay. Storage account is created successfully. Go to resources.
Shravan,
Yeah, please.
both are the Microsoft tools only, right? Then why he's any advanced technology options are there in the Fabric or in Synapse?
Yes, Fabric cost is low. Synapse analytical cost is very high because it having the data warehouse, right?
Okay.
Cost very huge. Synapse analytical.
Okay.
Let me create the container here. My container name is branch. Inside branch, let me upload some sample file here. For example, cpcust1.csv. This is the CSV file. Right. Copy the storage account name and go to the Synapse workspace. Click on manually via URL and provide your storage account name. Okay. Right. Here, container name is branch. File system name means okay. Your container name, we need to provide it in this location. All right. And one important thing is, see, especially while working with the Synapse Analytical, mandatory we need to select the data lake Gen 2. Here, there is some information, right? We need to give some extra permissions actually. Extra permissions we need to take care of it. Okay. So here, for example, here workspace, right? Workspace means multiple teams actually part of the our Synapse Analytical. For example, the team now participates 11, right? So if we want to give the access to the our 11 members, data engineer 11 members to the workspace, right? We need to give the permission. We need to give the permission. Okay, right. So see here, we need to give the extra permissions, right? Extra permissions means if you want to work with the team, right? Anyway, team having the team members, right? So the team members for actually permissions we need to give. So each and every team member, okay, trying to access this Synapse workspace and do the development. So every team member, the role is contributor role. Contributor role means he can do the anything. He can read it, he can write it, he can delete it. Okay, so here we are talking about the storage account. In storage account, we need to give the role as a storage blob data contributor role. We need to give it. Okay, copy this role and go to the storage account. Click on IAM, Identity Access Management. So click on Add Role Assignment. So the role is storage blob data contributor. Means here the service related to storage. Okay. We don't have any data lake Gen 2 option. We have only blob. Okay, while role level, this role belongs to the blob and data lake Gen 2, both level. Right? Data contributor. Contributor means he can read it, he can write it, he can delete it. So we are giving this role to the multiple members. For example, Shravan is a member, Manoj is a member, right? Shravan role is senior data engineer. Manoj role is maybe senior data engineer. So member means employee. Role is software engineer, senior data engineer. Hope you got it right. Here we need to attach the your team members. All the team members role is same. Okay. So here you need to attach the team members roles. Your point of view only one whatever you are maintaining the portal, right? The portal having only one. Okay, if you want, you can create the multiple users into the Azure Active Directory section. Okay, so just add the members and the role is storage blob data contributor. Click on next. Now these all the guys having the access to the read and write and delete.
So here we cannot give the only read access is not possible. Sure.
We are a developers, right?
Okay.
We are a developers. That is the reason.
Okay.
Still taking time. None. Okay, role of. I forgot to give the role. Select the role. Review assign and review assign. Okay. Now, once if you add this one, go to the your Synapse one. Click on security. Here, authentication method. Either Microsoft Entra level. Right. For example, if you open the Microsoft Entra ID, admin team actually create the roles. Right? Users. My point of view, 5 users available. Right. So if I select this option, use only Microsoft Entra authentication means whoever part of this Microsoft Entra, these guys can without a password directly can able to connect this Synapse workspace. Okay, if you want to give the local level and a combination of Microsoft Entra, here we need to go with a normal username and password. Let me provide the my own username and password. Click on networking. Azure SQL level, storage account level, keyword level, right? So we have a virtual network, private IP address option available, right? So who are part of that specific range IP address, those people can able to connect this one. Okay, click on tags and review create. Synapse, the cost is 415 Indian rupees. 41 cost is very high. Create. Synapse analytical cost is different. A dedicated SQL pool cost is different. Apache Spark full cost is different. Okay, create. Here I'm creating the Synapse workspace. Right? It will take some time. Okay, it will take some time, at least more than 2 minutes. Because Synapse Analytical inside there are a lot of plugins and packages available. Right? It will take some time to load. For example, while creating the SQL, data lake, gent, storage account, keyword, right? It won't take much time. So within the 1 minute, so the services will be created. Especially Databricks workspaces, Synapse Analyticals, it will take some time. Let's wait for the deployment. Normal, so far we are already seeing the Data Factory labs, data flow labs. In next coming days, we are gonna do the labs related to Spark and Databricks. All those things, if you want, you can implement into the even the Synapse inside also. We can do all those things. Okay. but Synapse cost is very high. That is the reason, especially pay-as-you-go practice level, free trial level, most of the folks actually are not preferring to work within Synapse Analytics. The cost is very high. Okay, same lab we can do in normal data factory, data flow level. Same lab we can do into the Databricks inside Spark lab. Okay, I will be back in 2 minutes. Okay, created. Let me go to the resource group. Okay, Synapse Workspace. Synapse Workspace. Right, let me launch the Synapse Workspace. Right. Here, so by default, while creating the Synapse one, by default, at the time of creating the Synapse, okay, here we have two things. One is dedicated SQL and serverless SQL pool and dedicated SQL pool. So by default, while creating the Synapse Analytical, serverless SQL pool will be created, right? So, and if you want, you can create the separate dedicated SQL pool. Here we have options to create it. So the purpose of to create this dedicated SQL pool is, for example, here we are choosing the data warehouses, right? So data warehouses means here we are storing the large volume of data. If you want to retrieve that large volume of data, if you want to write some SQL custom queries, some complicated queries, if you want to write it, right? So go with the dedicated SQL pool, right? For example, if you are just writing some ad hoc queries, simple queries, okay, just go with the serverless SQL pool. Serverless SQL pool actually not recommended. Dedicated SQL pool is the recommended one because we are storing the large volume of data. If you want to retrieve the data in very fast manner, right, we need to write some complex logic. right? Joining the table, some optimization level, and some of the Windows functions, right? We are doing same SQL level. What are the things which we are performing SQL level, right? Here also we are going to write some complex queries. Okay. So if you want to achieve that part, go with the dedicated SQL code, right? So for example, I want to go with the Spark pool. Purpose of this Spark pool means like Spark is a coding level, right, which is provided by the Apache company. Here we are writing the Spark code, okay, like creating the notebooks, writing the Spark code, PySpark code, right, and creating the data frames, reading the data, writing the data, performance optimization level. Such type of coding level options available here. Apache Spark code, okay. So those two options available here. Two options available here. For example, here, here we have an option called Open Synapse Studio. Studio means inside whatever the Synapse having the features inside like a data factory options, data flows options, right? Writing SQL scripts option, push to query, writing queries options, right? Integration runtime, link code services, right? Repository setups, dedicated SQL pool, serverless SQL pool, writing Spark code, Python. If you want to see all those things into the one place, so open the Synapse Studio. Okay, click on open. And again, I'm telling while creating the Synapse, by default, serverless SQL pool created. Okay, so we need to create a manually for the dedicated SQL pool, especially if you while handling the large volume of data. If you want to read it, if you want to write it, if you want to do some inside data warehouses, some activities, we need to write some complex queries, right? So only we can achieve the dedicated SQL pool only. Serverless SQL means here we are writing simple ad hoc queries. So Studio actually it is taking some time. A lot of things actually there into the backend, right? It will take some time. Okay, see, same whatever the data factory, the UI, almost it is also having the same options. It having some extra options. Here we have a manage tab. In this manage tab, if you want, you can create the dedicated SQL pool here. So built-in serverless SQL pool. Right? If you want, you can create own dedicated SQL pool. Here we have options to create it. Okay. If you want Apache Spark pool, yes, here we have options to create it. Spark pool name, right? So the node size, machine size, node family, auto scaling, right? Scale up and scale down. How many nodes minimum you want? Minimum nodes, maximum nodes, right? So here we have options available. Okay, same almost same options, right? We'll discuss in Databricks level. Databricks also while creating the cluster also having the same options. Spark cluster, driver program, worker node, the worker node driver program, compute details, auto scaling features, same options available. Okay, right. We'll discuss that part later. First, we'll see that what are the things available here. So see linked services, same data factory having the options, right, to connect and authentication and authorization level. Here we have a linked service option available. Okay. Now they are already introducing the Microsoft Fabric to connect it. So Fabric is separate one. Fabric we'll discuss in future. Triggers, schedule trigger, event-based trigger, thumbing window trigger options available here. Integration runtimes, auto resolve, Azure integration, self-hosted SSAs options available here. Right? It is all-in-one. Same like a Fabric level. It is all-in-one. Okay. All the services available in one place. All the services available in one place. So if you want to give the access, for example, I want to give the access to the other team members who are part of Azure portal. Earlier, few minutes back, I just give the access to the storage account level. Storage account level, I given the access to all the team members. And I want to give the access to all the team members through the Synapse workspaces. Here we have an option access control. Okay, select the role. For example, contributor role. Storage blob data contributor is different. Synapse contributor is different. Storage blob data contributor means so is this with the help of this role all the team members can read it and write it and delete it under the storage account. Correct? Even though in Synapse, I want to give the contributor access to the multiple users who are part of my project. All these guys can able to read it and write it and delete it. Okay. So here you need to search that user details. Okay, just add it. So like the way we need to add your team members. Click on apply. Okay, so this is the way we are going to give the access to our team members. Either if you want to give the group level, data engineer group, data science group, or else individual groups, or else service principal level. We have multiple options available. Okay, Apache Spark configuration. Anyway, tomorrow we'll discuss this part. Git configurations, same ADF level. Here we need to configure the repository. Here you need to choose either GitHub or Azure DevOps. So here you need to select your default Microsoft Enter ID. Okay, click on continue. Here you need to select your organization name. My point of view, plenty of organization available. Okay, select the organization name, select the project name, and select the repository name. My point of view already available. Okay, so once if you give the details, here we need to click on apply. So whatever we are doing the lab, right? Whatever you are creating a pipeline, writing the notebooks, automatically when you are trying to click on push, right, the code, the comments, right? Once if you click on push, right, the code changes will be moved into your respective repo. Okay, so Synapse, like it's almost like a all-in-one. Here are all the options available here. Okay, only majority data factor related options, somewhat Spark related options are available. Okay, but Databricks is different. Databricks internal having some lot of options, features, Unity catalog, Databricks file systems, right? And clusters, job clusters, and the way of running the cron jobs and all, workflows, Delta live tables, right? Multiple options available, multiple features available. But here, Synapse analytical level, ADF level, Fabric level, we have some limitations option because this analytical is different, Synapse analytical different, Databricks level is different. Okay, so under the manage, so under the monitor tab, same here we have options to run the pipelines. Okay, and a trigger, right? Either schedule trigger, tumbling window trigger, event-based trigger options available here. Even though here we have options to monitoring your storage account details, sorry, integration runtimes, and we have options to connect the link connection to connect these specific some services. Right here we have options to check your SQL scripts. See, this is the monitor tab, guys. This is the monitor tab. Whatever you are writing SQL queries, whatever you are running, right? Those queries actually, the running details you can able to see here. The KQL, the Spark application running details, right? All the running related information under the monitor tab, we can able to see it here. Then your question is where we can write the SQL queries, where we can write the KQL queries. Okay. So here there is a development tab. Here we have options to write the SQL scripts. Okay, here you need to write your SQL script. Make sure here you need to select your serverless SQL pool or a dedicated SQL pool. First, that part you need to select it. If in case if you select the serverless SQL pool, right, you need to write header queries. Okay, here you need to write the header queries. Okay, so select your main right database. Okay, for example, if you select the serverless SQL pool, right? So you need to select the right database. Okay, so right here you need to write the KQL script. Okay, custodial scripts, languages. Script you need to write it. So the scripts also somewhat is similar to this SQL only. Only little bit syntax is different. Remaining whatever SQL which we are writing, right? Same thing we are gonna write it here as well. But majority we are gonna perform the SQL only. But SQL, right, here we are writing the queries, some inner queries, sub queries, correlated queries, some Windows functions, common table expression, whatever you want, right? All those things we can write in the SQL level. Most of the folks actually preferring the SQL. KQL actually mainly useful at the time of log analytical level. Log analytical, it is one of the monitoring tool, especially admin teams writing the KQL queries. Okay, even though here we have a notebook option, here you need to select your Spark pool first. Here you need to select the Spark pool. Notebook means multiple cells actually, multiple cells. Here we are gonna write your code, either Python code or a PySpark code or a Spark Scala code or a .NET Spark code or a SQL code or R code. Right, Spark Databricks actually supports the multiple programming languages. The reason Databricks backend following the Spark concept. Right, same languages supports option also available in this section. So development means here we are doing the development related things. Okay. So data flow, same, already we discussed, right? Data flow concept. We have a sources. First, you need to enable the data flow debug. Means here we need to attach your integration runtime. Right, integration runtime. So here you need to select the source. Here we have a transformations available. Same thing, whatever we discussed so far, right? In data factory level, same options available here. So see Apache Spark job definition. If you want to run any like cron related jobs, right? On specific schedule wise, if you want to run it, here we have options to specify these details. Okay, you can run it. If you click on submit, means your job will be run, especially prod in related environment level. We can use this Spark job definition. Okay. So this is the development part. So data part. So here, so let me uncheck all those things. Close on all other tabs. All right. So this is my workspace. Here we have a linked one. While creating the Synapse wide, right? So we just pass the data lake gen 2, right? In the data lake gen 2, we have only one branch container. Inside branch container, so we have only one CSV file uploaded, right? That is cpcust1.csv file. If you want to read that CSV file through the notebook, PySpark code level or a SQL level, right? Here we have an option. If you want to read that file through the SQL script level, here we have an option. Okay. And if you want to upload the file into your branch layer, here we have an option. Instead of uploading the file into your storage account, in storage account, so far we have only one file, right? Okay. So here also we have options to directly upload some other files. Click on browse. Okay. Click on upload. See, just to go to your storage account and refresh the file automatically, right? Uploaded here also. Okay. For example, if you want to read this CSV file through the notebook level, okay, select the notebook, load the data frame. Anyway, I will explain the data frame in next week. So this is the data frame syntax, spark.read.load. So this is the location file is located. Format is CSV format. Okay. So here trying to display the data. Limit one. Provide your DF only. So shift enter. So if you want to execute this cell, right, use the option called shift enter. Okay, shift enter. And one more thing, guys, make sure if you are trying to execute this, right, you need to attach your Spark pool. Spark pool means we need a cluster. Without cluster, so it won't display any data, right? Definitely we need a cluster, right? In Monday, so I will explain the Spark part. What is Spark? Spark architecture and transformations, narrow transformations, wide transformations, actions. Okay, and some of the basics with related to this part. After that, I will show you the data frames creation, how many ways we can create the data frames, right? And I will create one Spark pool and we'll try to execute some code into the here. Okay, I will show you the labs like related to Spark related one, as well as normal SQL queries, the way of writing here, and the data factory creating the pipelines. Okay, so we'll try to do this, some labs related to the Synapse level, ADF level, data flow level, normal pipelines level, normal SQL queries, PySpark queries. Okay, we'll do this some of the labs on coming week. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Today I'm planning to leave early. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Now, what about Databricks, Shravan? Will you cover it? I
Yes,
think that Databricks also will cover it in this
yes,
Synapse.
yes. Databricks Fabric.
So here itself, in the Synapse itself, you will cover the Databricks or
No, Databricks
separately
is
we will
different, right? Yes, separately. Spark is common in Synapse level, Fabric level, Databricks level. We'll discuss that part in Databricks level. Any other questions? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll connect on Monday. Happy weekend.